So try to understand that fact also. Okay. So these are the two burn-in problems. As you can see, right, there are letters which can be seen as burnt in. Even look at the second one. There is ones or zeros or some numbers are permanently burnt, right? So this is not good. Even in ATM screen also, in the past ATM screens, this could be a familiar problem, right? Most of the people experienced, right? Then we have to discuss about another utility program called disk cleanup. So this is very simple, and most of the people use disk cleanup to clean. Look here, to clean unnecessary files. So see, whenever we use computers for a long time, there may be some unwanted files saved in our computers, right? There may be some files which can be downloaded from internet automatically. Even we didn't or we don't download them, right? But they can be downloaded automatically when we use computers for longer period of time. They are called temporary files, sometimes called internet files. They are not useful. They are useless files. But it may be difficult to find them manually in the computer, right? But that's why we use disk cleanup software to clean them. With the help of this disk cleanup, you can find out all these unnecessary files automatically. You don't need to go to your hard disk and check one by one. It automatically scans your hard disk and shows the unwanted files saved in your computer, right? If you are confident enough that they are unwanted, just remove them, right? Because they are unwanted files, they are useless, so remove them. So once they are removed, you have free space, right? So having more free space in your computer hard disk means the performance is increased, right? Look here, it's a Microsoft utility software. It allows users to find and remove files that are no longer needed. That's why I call them as unwanted files, right? So these are called disk cleanup programs, disk cleanup software. Even some people use this cleaning up software in smartphones too, because in smartphones there may be some unnecessary files. You have to clean them. So that's why I use disk cleanup software, right? Then another one, antivirus programs, right? This is very familiar one. Antivirus is one of the utility program. We all use antivirus programs for removing or for detecting viruses, because virus is a small program which can do bad things for the computer. There are so many bad things which can be done by virus, right? They may delete some wanted files, important files. They may create some unwanted files, right? So there may be so many issues occurred by virus. So definitely all the users want to remove them, right? How to remove? Use antivirus software. So now realize that antivirus software is used for improving the performance, because when antivirus software is used, virus can be deleted. So if it is deleted, definitely the computer becomes very fast or becomes very efficiency, right? That is antivirus. We will learn some of the other things about virus and antivirus in grade 11 last unit, right? There is a section allocated for such thing, right? So we can learn. Now understand that antivirus removes viruses, and also it is one of the utility program. Okay, so these are the utility programs that you have to remember. Let's take them again. Softwares are used to improve the performance, right? So there are many. Partitioning software we discussed, right? Defragmentation we discussed. Formatting software, cleaning up software, the one which we'll discuss last. Antivirus programs, disk scanners, system diagnosing tools, right? Screensavers and software, backup softwares, right? For taking backup, we use utility programs. Okay. Now take another one. This may not be related to utility because we have covered the utility programs. This is related to file management. We already finished file management, but I forgot to mention this small part. So let me explain this one. Even this can be asked in exams, right? So try to understand the term. So this is file access, right? File access, which means accessing a file, approaching a file, using a file, right? You may take any words, right? We all know the word file, right? So we clearly studied everything in file management. You know, file is a component used in a computer for storing data. So I mentioned that image is a file, video is a file, audio is a file. We have many text file, which means a file which has text, right? So there are so many types of files available. We studied everything, right? You know, file name is there in a file, file extensions are there. So we studied, right? Now we need to know only the approach method. So the access method to a file. Generally, a file can be accessed in two different methods. The first one is called sequential access. I will explain, right? Wait, I will explain. Sequential access. The other one is called random access, sometimes called direct access, right? So we are talking about the method for accessing a file, for approaching a file. There are two ways. One method is sequential method or sequential access. The other one is called random access, right? So let's take the first one, sequential access. Right. Listen to me. I will explain first, then we can see the screen and understand the diagram. Right. So look at that, as the name implies, look at the term sequential access. So that term itself has some meanings, right? So we can understand. So generally, in sequential access, to access the data in a file, assume there is a file, right, which has so many records, right? So better I take an example where a file has 1,000 students' names, right? Names, maybe the date of birth. There are names which I call records. The file, but it has 1,000 students' details. Every detail can be taken as a record. If it is a sequential access, to access a particular student data, student record, we cannot access that directly, right? We have to access from the top. For example, I'm going to access a student whose record or whose name is placed as 100, right? So now I want to access the 100 students detail. But if it is a sequential access, I cannot go to the 100 record directly. I have to start from the first record. So I have to approach the first one, then second one, then the third one, then only one by one I have to take that. That is called sequential access. Have you understood? There is a file with 1,000 students details. Now you want to access 100th record, right? That the student who is written as 100 record. To access that particular student, you cannot go to 100 record directly. You need to start from the beginning. Yes, you have to start from beginning. At the same time, you need to go one by one. This is called sequential access. Mostly, sequential access files are saved in tapes, right? Magnetic tapes, even the one which we used earlier, video tapes, they are called sequential access. It would be better if I give one more example. See, in the past, we used to store videos in tapes. Have you seen a tape where the video is recorded. Nowadays we use CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray discs for storing videos, right? But earlier we used tapes for storing video. So assume that there is a video cassette, right, which has a video, right, 1 hour video. There is a video saved. Listen to me carefully. Now you want to watch a particular scene, right? Particular scene in the video. Not from the beginning. You want to see a scene which is recorded as 45 minutes or something. There is something in the 45 minutes. The video is 1 hour video, but you want to see a small clip, small scene which starts from 45 minutes, right? Remember, if you use videotape, you cannot go to the 45 minute directly, right? Because it's a tape. What you have to do is you have to start from the beginning. Have you used the technology forwarding, rewinding? Right? We use such ideas for moving backward and moving forward. So for taking your video, for watching that video from 45 minutes, definitely you need to start from the beginning. Yes, you may forward your video, but it doesn't mean that you go to the 45 minute directly. You have to start from the beginning. And if you don't want the beginning part, just forward it. Forward means it's a fast playing, right? Your video will be moved fastly. At one stage, it can come to the 45 minute, right? So try to understand, you cannot go to the 45 minute directly, right? That video must be watched from the beginning. That is called sequential access. Try to study this small diagram. Look here. This is a file, right? But which has so many data. So assume that I talked about the students' details, right? So this is the first student detail, second student detail, third student detail. Assume that you want to access the record of 7th student. So where is that particular piece of information? It is here. It is in this box. If it is sequential access, you cannot access 7th directly. How to access 7th? First, you have to start from the first, then read the second, then read the third, fourth, right? At one stage, you can reach 7th. This is sequential access, right? But if it is random access, we don't have such issues. You may access any record directly at any time, right? If I take my example again, you have 1,000 records, 1,000 details of students. You want to access someone's which is entered as 100, right? Now, if you use random access technology without spending much time, you can go to the 100 record directly and access it. You can read it, right? That is possible. Even after reading 100 record, you may come to 50th directly and read it. There is no order to be followed. After reading 50th, you may go to 900 record and read it. That is possible. So it is random, right? So you don't follow any order, which means you are accessing them directly. That is called direct access. Okay, so look here, a random access data file enables you to read an information anywhere in the file, right? So now understand this one. You have, right, you have 8 things in a file. This total, it's a file. There may be some data here, right? Everything. Assume that there are some students' details, fine. Now you want to access, right, the first one. Okay, you can access. Even, right, you may start from another one, but I want, according to the picture, you want to access the first student. Okay, access it. Now, you want to access a person data, which is here, right? Yes, you can jump, right? You can jump into that one and read it. After reading this data, you want to access someone's which is entered as second. Yes, just return and read it. There is no issue at all. You may read, you may jump and come back and go, anything is possible. This is called random access. Now think about the present storage devices which we use for storing data. We use nowadays what? Drives, or we use disks, right? Hard disk, floppy disk, what else? USB disk. All these disks use this kind of a technology, random access files. What type of storage medium use sequential access file? They are tapes, right? That is possible only in tape. But these disks, it may be hard disk, it may be pen drive, CD, everything, right? So here we use random access technology. For example, now listen to me. Assume that you have, right? You have I take the same example. You have a file which has thousands data in your hard disk, right? Now you want to access the student whose record is 100. Remember, your file is kept in hard disk. Now just open the file and go to the 100 record directly. That is possible. You can access any record anytime. After reading the 100 record, you may go to 900 directly. You have experiences, right? In hard disk or in pen drive, it is possible. Even if you are watching a video which has 1 hour time, right? You don't need to follow the order. Now I take the same example. There is a video, right? 1 hour video recorded. You want to watch from 45 minutes, right? You want to start from 45 minutes. Should you start from the beginning? No, right? You can directly go to the 45th minute and start from there, right? We can access directly, right? Any spot can be accessed directly in your video. That is called random access, direct access. Okay, so you actually it depends on the disk, right? The type of disk. If it is sequential access file, definitely it is a tape, right? I didn't mention, but try to understand. Here, tape is used for sequential access, right? Somewhere, right? But for random access, you cannot use tape. Here you have to use disks, right? Can be CD, can be DVD, can be hard disk, right? Floppy disk, anything can have random access file. So all the files which we have or which we use can be accessed by in these two methods, right? Some files can be accessed by sequential access. Some of them can be accessed using direct access method. Okay, so these are the two access methods. Look at this picture. This also tells everything. So here we have records, right? Everything is a record. This is a record. Here we have another record. So we have so many records. We want to access a record which is placed here, which is kept here. But remember, this is sequential access. Can we access it directly? No, right? We have to start from here, first one, then come to the second one, third one, then only we can read it. This is exactly looks like a video kept in your video cassette tape, right? To watch a particular clip, you need to come from the beginning. Right, look at the random access. Again, a file has so many records. Everything is a record in a single file. Now we want to access this file, this record. To access this record, it is possible to come directly, right? We can directly access it. Even after reading it, if you want to go back to the first one, you can return to the first one and read it. This is random access or direct access. Okay, so this can be asked in exam. Try to understand these two access types: direct access and also sequential access. There are two different methods for accessing files. Okay, so today we covered something related to utility programs. I explained some of the other utility programs. They are very familiar to us, right? Even though we use them, sometimes we don't know the reason for having them. See, most of the people use screensavers only for I mean getting as a leisure time activity or some other purpose. They don't understand the real reason for having screensaver, right? But see, I explained about screensaver, right? Even nowadays we have screensaver facility in phone, even in computer. So you may wonder why screensaver is there in the modern displays. Is it important to have screensaver for modern display? If you take that in technical perspective, the answer is no, right? There is no need for having screensaver. But the reason for having screensaver in the modern displays is to give some other securities. You know, some of the screensavers or most of the screensavers may give password protection. So once your computer becomes idle, that screensaver appeared and immediately your computer is locked, which means it has passwords. So thereafter, if someone accessed your computer, he or she cannot go into the computer because it has a password. It may be one of the reasons for having screensavers still now. There may be one or two other reasons, but this may be one of them, because screensavers can have password protection, right? But for that post-per burn-in, we don't have any issues nowadays. Okay, so remember these things. We discussed some of the things today about utility as well as this file access, right? So it's enough for today. We almost completed the operating system, right? If something is missed, I will check and try to explain in the next class, but almost 99% of the things have been covered in operating systems, right? So that's it for today. We will meet with another lesson in another day, right? Thank you.